So how many people in this room have parents or grew up in a family when you were at the age from 1 to 7, ages from 1 to 7, right? So your birth to 7 years old, that your parents or people who raised you made less than $100,000 a year. About 90% of the room. Me too. Less than 100,000 a year, right? So, and I'm just gonna pay. So those people, parents, people, they're gonna take care of you. Less than, say, 50,000 a year. Raise them high if you could. Less than 50,000 a year. Me too. So my dad, I was a police officer living in a trailer from the age of when I was 1 to 7 years old. 1 to 7. Did you know, and I've just recently learned this, and it's absolutely astonishing, and it explains a lot, right? That in the first 7 years of life, that is where your programming is all done. And the reason why is the first 1 to 7 years, as kids growing up, we are in a theta state. And in a theta state, a theta state is essentially hypnosis. And hypnosis is where there is no filter on the conscious, and it goes directly into the subconscious. Think about that. So 1 to 7 years, essentially there's no conscious to filter what goes in the subconscious. So between ages 1 and 7, whatever is observed, whatever is suggested, and whatever beliefs are adopted during those 1 and 7 years is basically makes up the rest of your entire life. So let me ask you a question. If you were like me, my dad made no more than $45,000 a year, right? Even all the way through high school and all that type of stuff, but probably even less. We were programmed, right? Programmed. So $45,000 a year. Have you heard stuff like, money doesn't grow on trees? Money doesn't grow on trees. Or you go into a store and they go, and you want this toy. And what do they say? We can't afford that. Oh, we can't afford that. Oh, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. So my wife has a niece that has a young daughter that's about 3 years old, cutest little girl. But this niece grew up in a family that said couldn't afford it. They're in a situation, so you can hear her talking, oh, we can't afford that. Oh, we can't afford that. We can't afford that. So this her daughter now, which is, I don't even know what the niece to niece or whatever, basically the bottom line is getting programmed to not afford. Can't afford it, can't afford it, can't afford it. So what were some other things? Money doesn't grow on trees. You're not, what's that one? I'm not Rockefeller. What's some other ones? What's that? I'm not made of money. What'd you say? Money is the root of all evil. That's not what the Bible says. It says the love of money is the root of all evil. And love is an idol. That means putting money above God. And there's no idols before me, right? So that's the correct. But it's been strewn to say money is the root of all evil. Money is the root of all evil. If you're programmed as a kid in your belief and suggestion and observation that the money is root of all evil, and now you go out as an adult and you operate on 95%, that operation is based upon what happened when you were age 1 through 7. Do you believe that? This is facts. This is scientific, factual, documented truth. So what's another one? Someone else said someone over here. Huh? Wife won't give you a living. Have you heard life's tough? Yeah, what else? Life's not fair. Life's not fair. Huh? Be happy with what you got. I don't know what he said, but it sounded pretty freaking funny. Yeah. So, we're in our theta state. We don't have a conscious to filter. It goes directly in our subconscious mind, and anything we observe, anything that is suggested, money doesn't grow in trees, money's the root of all evil, we can't afford this, or adopted beliefs of the person that we're observing or being raised by creates a programming that literally impacts our entire life for the rest of our life. And some of you have been trying this success game for a while, haven't you? You've been trying it for a while, right? You've been pushing, you've been trying this and trying that and trying this, and you can't figure out why you can't get it to work. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. Don't beat yourself up. You've been programmed. I've been programmed. So, anybody know what the Jesuits are? So the Jesuits have been around since 1540. So for over 400 years, the Jesuits have said that give me a child for 7 years, and then I will give you the man. They've known it for 400 years. 400 years. Give them for, bam, right? So you look at it, and then now my question goes, right? What can we do to get unprogrammed? Now, you remember Rich Dad, Poor Dad? That book right there? Programming versus rich programming versus poor programming. We're being programmed by the influence of who the rich dad or the poor dad. 95% of our daily decisions, actions, beliefs comes from our programming that was done from the age of 1 to 7, and it's automatically done within our subconscious. So your daily actions, your decisions that you make, the actions that you take, the things that you do, the fear that you feel inside, the doubt that arises in your head, all derives from the first 7 years of your childhood. Right? First 7 years. It's running in your subconscious mind right now. So let me ask you a question. How's it going? It's a grind, isn't it? You're almost fighting against yourself. Fighting against yourself to get there. And you are. I am too. It's the same thing, just pushing. So then it goes, okay, how do we reprogram ourselves? How can we reprogram ourselves? Well, first off, right, we have to be consciously competent, right? We have to know that we're essentially programmed. We have to know it. And we got to know that we're programmed. But this is how you unprogram yourself. And it's called behavioral congruency. Right? Because here's the thing. We've adopted behaviors of people who raised us from 1 to 7. We've adopted them, and it went through a filter, it went right into our subconscious, and we don't know we're doing things. We don't know we're doing it. So now, for us to turn around and change that programming, change that behavior, we essentially have to adopt, which behavioral congruency means, adopt the behavior of who? The successful. Interesting, huh? Interesting. So now we have to adopt the behavior of a successful person. So here's the thing. We've got essentially an opportunity that's presented. And then there's an internal fear. There's internal doubt. And if that happens inside, that is a trigger from 7 years of programming. Right? Or we could adopt behavioral congruency and adopt what successful people do. And successful people take action. Unsuccessful people contemplate, to consider, to evaluate, and discuss. Successful people, they make decisions quickly. They do. It's a fact. Have you ever heard Think and Grow Rich? Have you heard Think and Grow Rich say that? So we can, behavioral congruency, we can adopt the behavior of a successful person. Now the problem is, it's gonna go everything against our grain. It's gonna push you all the way across your grain. If I don't push you out of your comfort zone, out of your 7 years of programming, if I don't push you out of 7 years of your programming, you're gonna continue to be who you were when you walked in this door. But I remember from day one, you walked in this door and you made a commitment, didn't you? Didn't you? You were gonna be a different person, weren't you? You were gonna transform, weren't you? And you were gonna walk out a different person. I told you coming in that I'm not accepting you for who you are. That was the first day, didn't I say that? I'm not accepting you for who you are. I'm accepting you for who you can be. And I want you sincerely, honestly, truthfully, from my heart, to be successful. But if your gut is kind of swirling inside and stuff like that, that's your little voice going, you know what? Take action. Find a way. Get it done. Commit. That's what it is. That's what it's saying. And your 7-year programming is your voice in your head that's going, you can't do this. What if you do it and then you can't come up with the payment? What if you do it and you don't have this? What if you do it and you don't have that? What if you do it and you don't have... That's your 7 years of programming. That's your 7 years of failure programming. Do you realize that? So you got two options. Either A, submit to your 7 years of failure programming, or you rebirth, like we talked about, a new beginning. And you make a commitment to live in beast mode.